This time I'd like to open it up for questions if anybody has a question.
How does your father feel about the troops in Afghanistan? I know he's about Iraq.
He did vote for them to go into Afghanistan, and he would have voted for, and I'm sort of telling you what I think he would tell you to this answer, but I think that he doesn't believe in nation building. He doesn't believe that we, the military, most military people will tell you that they don't want to be policemen, they don't want to set up the local, patrols for the streets. He does not believe in long-term occupation by our military. He probably would have gone in maybe in a bigger way, and Michael Shore, this guy, that ex-CIA agent, says our biggest mistake was we should have gone in a bigger way very quickly within a week, because terrorists, their modus operandi is to disperse. And we were too late 3 weeks later to catch most of them. We went in with a small force, and he ran into Pakistan, and then we didn't follow him into Pakistan. But yeah, he did vote to go in originally, but it's been 4 years now, and it's getting to be more and more of a mess there. And the other point Michael Shore makes in studying all this is he thinks no secular Islamic person will remain in power in any of those countries when we're gone, because like they say, it's a sin. Secularism is a sin to most Muslims. So they do not want a Western-style democracy. And even in Afghanistan, we presided over the Constitution. Do you know it still says in the Constitution that it's a death penalty for conversion from Islam to Christianity? And that's something we helped sort of preside over. Imagine what it would have been if we hadn't been presiding over it. So, that's what they want, though. And their evolution has to be like ours. If they want to evolve to something different, and I think a higher level, and that's my own opinion, but I'm going to tell that through example, not through force, they've got to do it on their own. They're not going to do it, and it'll be worse with us telling them to do it.
So what do you forward think about the relation between the United States and Iran?
And Iran. I think that's a good point, because the rest of the Republican field has said they won't even rule out using nuclear weapons against Iran. He thinks it's a mistake. We should pull our Navy back from their borders. He's afraid an accident's going to happen and it's going to drag us into war. He thinks the build-up for war with Iran has already begun, and all the discussion of saying that they're responsible for a lot of these weapons. There haven't been any congressional hearings. There's been no public knowledge other than people claiming these are Iranian weapons. The other point is that Iran feels threatened because we have troops in Iraq and we have troops in Afghanistan. And we don't want to say the guy is, I think, a loose cannon, their president, but we don't want to understand, we have to understand their perspective that they feel threatened. But he makes the point that for 40 years we stared down the Soviet Union with 40,000 nuclear weapons that could actually hit us and still could devastate our country. And we were able to do that without a nuclear war. Can we not stare down Iran if they could develop one in 10 years? His other good point, and now we actually even have somebody from the military saying that. General Abizaid just retired a week ago. He said the same thing. He said we should try to encourage them not to build a nuclear weapon. We should really work hard in that way. If they should get a nuclear weapon, I don't think we have to go to war with Iran. Here's another thing about Iran, which I think is a great point. Iran can't even refine their own gasoline. Iran imports their gasoline from Europe, and we are so worried about them developing a nuclear weapon that we think we have to bomb them. But once you bomb them, see right now, in the late 1970s, the students rose up, and they were the Islamic force. They rose up and overthrew the Shah. It's almost at the point where it's the opposite. Now the students are young and more Western. They see our videos. They secretly are wearing our clothes and putting lipstick on at home and acting in Western sort of ways. And they are the ones that are going to rise up and change that society. But if we go in and bomb, facilities, we're going to kill surrounding people, collateral damage, innocent civilians. And what that does is it turns their families and their relatives against us. And in the end, we end up creating more animosity towards us and maybe defeating the same cause that could rise up and oppose the mullahs over there.